Hello and welcome to the Dutchin channel. It's Wednesday the 24th of April 2024 and it's approaching 20 past 8 in the morning, and we're going to look at selections today for Gowran Park in Ireland. We'll have a look there. We'll start off with the 4 o'clock. There's no non-runners there, but there is a horse that hasn't seen the track before. This is Robbie's Rock, but we'll come to all of this when we go through the sheet. The 4:35, that looks like at the moment that will be a betting race. The 5:05, obviously they've got 3 reserves still in there, but it is looking like a betting race. The 5:40, there's no non-runners and 8 go to post there. The 6:15, you can see that's got horses that haven't run before, so that won't be a bet. The 6:50, yeah, that looks okay. And the 7:25, well, this is straight away, this is going to be a no bet. I mean, you can look at that yourself. All the horses that are mixed form here, I don't really want. There's so many that have been over the jumps, so that race there will be a no betting race. And as I say, never worry about the races that you're not going to bet in, because we do so many. Okay, so I don't need to worry about certain ones that I'm losing, but I'm only doing the flat at the moment, not because it's profiting better, because we've had some good jumps meetings, but I'm just trying to cut it down so I can perhaps do a few more videos for you and just have a bit more quality time. Not that I've got that at the moment, but I just want to be able to just to scale it down. I mean, there might be a day this week where we got about 5 or 6 flat meetings, but I think until the end of the likes of Punchestown, which I will do because it is big racing and we've got all the good turnouts coming up there, so I will do that. Right, so let's get into our sheet. I've put these races in. I haven't put that 7:25, but I have put all the ones in that have these unraced horses. And remembering last night when I showed you the results showed, there are so many unraced horses that are winning that's up to you whether you leave them out or whether you decide you're going to do them. So that is up to you. But I'll still go through the prices and everything, because people have said to me, well, it don't matter if you're not having a bet, but we may want to bet. So we'll start off with our top selection, which is Thor's Hammer. And Thor's Hammer, that is currently 3.95. Would have been an idea if I'd have moved that. Alright, so 3.95 for Thor's Hammer. And what I do like about it is the 94.25 rating that we've got there. So, this horse would fit in something like a 0 to 95 handicap. So that's good at 3.95. You would want stakes on that at £25.32 to return 100. And our second selection there would be See the Polaris. And See the Polaris, we didn't even realise that they're not in order. So that is 1.94, so we've got an odds-on favourite in that race. But because it isn't the top selection, it means that I would, if this was a normal race, I would still bet it because I'm doing another horse first of all. But if this comes in as the number 1 selection at 1.94, then I wouldn't bet it. We've seen too many of these odds-on pots get beat, but maybe not in this system. So it's something that we need to keep watching. I have put a video on this morning if you want to have a look at how the system breaks down, how you bet on certain horses, and how we work the racing post ratings form combined with the beaten lengths and the difference in the weights. All that is explained. It's about an hour video, but I have covered 3 races from tomorrow's card at Beverley if you want to have a look at that. So I said, this is a race that I wouldn't be betting in, but I would go for Thor's Hammer if I was going for anything. So let's go into race 2 now. And we know with the Irish racing, they like big handicaps. But to be fair to them, they don't have many meetings a week like we do in the UK. So it is going to work that way. But I prefer larger handicaps anyway. So let's have a look in the 435. And our top selection here is Enola Nation. Now, Enola Nation, that's currently 22. So stakes of £4.55 would return us £100. You can see it's not too many runners. Our second selection would be Dulce Far Niente, and that's showing at 5.9. Stakes of £16.95 would return £100. And our third selection is Private Officer. And Private Officer, that's currently 18. And stakes of £5.56 would return £100. Now, while I'm here just for a minute, going back to yesterday, I brought up a nap selection that was so poor you wouldn't believe it. Tailed off last, and it had every chance, and then when it came to push, nothing. So I'm not going to go down the selection route of how I did that, because it just didn't work. So today, if I was going to have a bet here at Gowran Park, I would be doing it on most probably just points alone. So we've got 94.25 Thor's Hammer, but we haven't completed Gowran Park yet. When we complete that, this may get overtaken. And you'll see this one here is 82.50 for Enola Nation. So we're going to look at our full selection now. This is Limoncello Lady. And that's currently 7.8. So stakes of £12.82 would return us £100. And we've got £10.13 left. And we're going to look at a horse called Tea or Coffee. And Tea or Coffee, we'll lift that up because I've got something on the bar at the bottom. So Tea or Coffee, that's currently 32. And stakes of £3.13 would return us £100. And Harry the Rogue. So we'll look for this one. And Harry the Rogue, that is currently 6.2. As I said, at this time of the morning, these are not in any specific order. So we had £7 left after the tea or coffee bet. So Harry the Rogue can only have a maximum of £7. So that is our £50 stakes. We've got 5 running for us. Enola Nation, Dulce Far Niente, Private Officer, Limoncello Lady, Tea or Coffee, and Harry the Rogue will be our lesser return. Then moving into the 505 at Gowran Park. Just have a quick look here. Yeah, plenty of runners in this one. Don't forget we have 3 reserves. And by the end of, I don't know, maybe midday, 1 o'clock or a bit earlier, those reserves will be non-runners unless there's a non-runner in the race itself and they will replace it. So we'll do the betting to start with, including, because we do have a reserve in 5th place here. I'm not saying we're going to get down that far. So our top selection for this race is going to be Aurora Nova. Aurora Nova, there's quite a few to go through here. And I don't know if that's me. or whether I need to go through that. Yeah, not good from me that. Now we're going through the next race without even doing anything. I haven't even changed the race. So we have other things on my mind, I think. Right, as we change it into the 505, now we're going to look for Aurora Nova, which we find here. That's currently trading at 25. So stakes of £4 will return us £100. Our second selection is Deuteronomy, and this is currently at 19. So stakes of £5.26 would return us £100. Then we've got Summer Snow. Summer Snow, that's 11.5, and stakes of £8.70 would return us £100. And then we've got a horse called Venetian. This is 17.5, and stakes of £5.71 would return us £100. Now this one we're not going to be sure if it's running or not. This is Ferrari Desert. Let's pull these up. I'm expecting that to be at the bottom. They look like they're in number order. This is currently 18, and stakes of £5.56 would return us £100. Then we've got Spirit of Paradise. And Spirit of Paradise, that's another one, 17.5. So we've got some big prices in this race. Stakes of £5.71 would return us £100. We've still got about £15 to lay out yet. And Knock More Prince is our next selection. This is trading at 11.5. Stakes of £8.70 would return us £100. And now we've got left £6.36. And the next selection is Gallo del Cielo. Gallo del Cielo, that is 22. I've got one under 10 to 1 here, which I'm not complaining about. Right now I've got £1.82 left, and this will be going on a reserve, but again, whether they run or not, we'll find this out a little bit later. And this will be odds of 21. Pimstraw is the name of the horse there. So we've got 8 running for us, and the other one with a part amount on it. So we've got Aurora Nova, Deuteronomy, Summer Snow, Venetian, Ferrari Desert, the Reserve, Spirit of Paradise, Knock More Prince, Gallo del Cielo, and the one running for less money will be Pimstraw, but again that will be a reserve. I will read these out again after. And now we're going into the 540 at Gowran Park, and you will see there that this is a higher class race than the one we had on top going back a bit where it was 94. Now we've got a new horse that's just tipped over 100 there, but we'll work out the prices first. We'll see where this ranks. And we'll start with Express Over. And Express Over, this is currently 4.7. An idea if I put it under the right horse. Stakes of £21.28 would return us £100. And our second selection is All Lies Ahead. And that is 5.5. Stakes of £18.18 would return £100. And our third selection, Every Little Step, and this is 8.8. So let's see if we had enough money to go onto that. We had £10.54, so that will be fine. and that's our 3 in that race there with the stakes of £50. We've got Express Over, All Eyes Ahead to return £100, and every little step will be the lower amount. Now we're going to go into the 6.15. Looks like a maiden, this one. Plenty of horses that haven't seen a race course before. So for me, it will be a no betting race, but there is a horse at the top here that has a better rating than the other races. This is Dollarina. So again, if you were just thinking, well, one of these unraced horses is not going to match 101, then, you know, there's your option. Let's have a look in that next race at Gowran Park. And Dollarina is the favourite there at 2.24. So if you fancied a shorty, that's the highest ranked horse of the day. And I won't bother saying we're going to do it to stakes because this is going to be a no betting race for me anyway. And Nativity Square would be my second in. And Nativity Square there is 11. And if you fancied a third, then it would have been Fleur de Chine. And Fleur de Chine is 7.2. But yeah, I think if I was going to take anything out of this race, it would mostly be Dollarina on the 101. Now, 101, if you was to transfer that into UK racing, because when you go on Irish racing, they on some handicaps they do tell you like 47 to 65, that kind of thing. But a lot of handicaps just have the word handicap. So what this would equate to if you were running this under the UK rules is most probably would be at the very top of a class 3, but you most probably could get that into a class 2 handicap. But the class 2 handicap normally goes up to 105. That's like your heritage handicaps and all that. So you would see up to 105. So maybe that would make that. But if that was in a 0 to 105, in my estimations, where the average weight would be 9 stone 2, this here would receive £4 because it's under the 105. So you would have 4 to come off of 9 stone 2. So theoretically, Dollarina would be carrying 8 stone 12 in a class 2 handicap. So that will give you an idea if you were running that where it would be in the UK. Because as I say, when you go back to the Irish racing, let's see if I can just find one where they just have handicap. There's a prime example in the 435, that's a 47 to 65. And there's another 47 to 65. We know there are more lesser rated horses than top rated, so there's always going to be more runners. And there's an example of one there in the 540. Tells us how much it is in euros, but again, it's just a 3-year-old plus handicap. There's no numbers at all. So when we looked at the 540, which was the previous race, we did see a horse here, Express Over, and even All Eyes Ahead, and every little step, even the one underneath that. These are between roughly 95 and 100. You would be looking, I would say, at a class 3, but they could up to class 2 with less weight. So that will give you an idea of where we are with that race. So into this auction fillies maiden, they've got Dollarina there in the racing post at 6 to 4, but we have looked at this. This is going off at the moment at just under 5 to 4 on Matchbook, but a no race for me. And then we're going to move into our last betting race. The last one I've scratched and taken off here. It's a mess. Trust me, you've had most of the horses have just been mixed up, running over the jumps, the flat combined, and it's a mess. So it's not even worth looking at betting in it. We don't need to do that. I don't need to spend half hour, 40 minutes on it either. Right, so moving into our last betting race, which would be the 650. Our top rated here is 86. So you would be looking at maybe a class 5 handicap here of around 85 top rated. And our top selection would be Martinelli. I think everyone knows who he plays for if you come from London. So let's have a look. And Martinelli, that is currently 6.8. I've done that again without moving the mouse. So we'll put that in at 6.8. Stakes of £14.71 would return us £100. And our second selection is Edvard Grieg. And Edvard Grieg, this is an outsider at 18.5. So stakes of £5.41 would return us £100. And our third selection there would be Blue Soul. And Blue Soul, that's currently at 7.4. Stakes of £13.51 would return us £100. And our fourth would be Put Your Hands Together. And we've got that currently at 9, so stakes of £11 and 11 pence would return us £100. And that's going to leave us £5.26. So we've got Emerald Eclipse. This is currently 4.1. So we've got £5.26 at 4.1, and that will be in the last race. And that's just stakes of £50. So Martinelli, Edvard Grieg, a Blue Soul, and Put Your Hands Together. One of those four would return £100, and Emerald Eclipse would be the lesser amount. So we're going to go back to the start of Gowran Park. The first race, I'm going to put no bet at the bottom. That's just it for me, but if you fancy anything there, you know you've got that Thor's Hammer rated at 94. The next one to that is the favourite at 85. So it's quite a way clear, but I'm not telling you to back anything because of these unraced horses. Then we're going to go into the second race there, the 455. We've got 5 to return £100. Enola Nation, Dulce Far Niente, Private Officer, Limoncello Lady, Tea or Coffee, and Harry the Rogue. Let's go in, bring the calculator out. Harry the Rogue, 6.2. And if I put the point in, times £7 would return £43.40. So it would be a part return. A little bit of a loss, not much, but you've got 5 running for you. Then in the 505, we've got quite a few here. Don't forget we've got reserves that are mostly not going to run, which will give us different selections added on. But we've got 8, was it 8 in this? Yeah, we've got 8 running for us. Aurora Nova, Deuteronomy, Summer Snow, Venetian, Ferrari Desert, a reserve, Spirit of Paradise, Knockmore Prince, Gallo del Cielo, that's your 8 there, one of those will return £100. And Pimstrel, the other reserve that we got in there, that would have a stake of £1.82 times the odds of 21, and that would return us £38.22. Not quite our money back, but not bad considering we've got 8 running for us. Then in our next race, we go for, this is the 540, we've got Express Over and All Eyes Ahead. One of those two would return us £100, and Every Little Step, that's currently 8.8. We would be timesing this by £10.54, and the return here would be £92.75. So we nearly got 3 running for us there. And then into the next race. This for me will be a no bet, but it is most probably the best horse of the day at 101 rated. And then we'll move into the last race that we're going to bet in, the 650 at Gowran Park. We got 4 running for us: Martinelli, Edvard Gregg, Blue Soul, Put Your Hands Together. One of those 4 would return £100. And our last selection there, Emerald Eclipse, 4.1 times £5.26 on your stake, would return £21.56, but better than totally losing to get 20 quid back for your 50, but you have got 4 running for you. So that's your racing today at Gowran Park in Ireland. I hope I helped a little bit there as well with the way that the handicaps get worked out. If you need to know anything more about that, just contact me. I can always send you some information. And that's going to be it on the betting front. So good luck with whatever you're turning out today, and we'll see you in the result show.